Hello and welcome to Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I'm Alison Lagrange, live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin with the top headlines. Russia slams the United States for imposing sanctions on India over New Delhi's procurement of Moscow-linked crude oil, adding that the two countries will continue oil trade, notwithstanding the external pressure. Syria and Israel hold US-mediated talks in Paris as the two sides seek to diffuse tensions following a flare-up of sectarian violence last month that led to Israel striking its neighbor. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government clears the legislation in the lower house of Parliament to outlaw all money-based online games and bar banks and financial institutions from processing betting-related transactions. China and Pakistan hold a trilateral dialogue with Taliban-run Afghanistan at the level of foreign ministers, with focus on political, economic and regional cooperation. And Indonesia's central bank cuts its benchmark rate to 5%, further shifting monetary policy toward President Prabowo Subianto's goal to boost a welfare agenda-driven economic growth. Hello and welcome. India's defense modernization has shifted into high gear. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Cabinet Committee on Security has reportedly cleared the acquisition of 97 Tejas Mk-1A fighter jets. The production is expected to cost over $7.1 billion and will be executed by the state-owned Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Now, this is the biggest order for the Tejas Mk-1A, after the first 83 jets ordered in 2021. Once completed, the IAF will have 180 Mk-1As, making it key to India's air power. The new jets are expected to help the Indian Air Force replace the aging MiG-21s, India's Soviet-origin flying beasts that are set to retire next month. The inclusion of Tejas will also bring a much-needed boost to the Indian Air Force's squadron strength, which has been hovering around 30 against the required strength of 42. But what makes the Mk-1A special is the tech inside. Tejas will be equipped with the Israeli-origin AESA radar systems, a critical piece of technology which can track dozens of targets at once. It also features an electronic warfare suite, which can disrupt enemy radars, and an advanced helmet-mounted sight, which gives enhanced night vision and wider field of view to the pilot. The aircraft will be equipped with Derby missiles, already in use on India's French-origin Rafale fighters. And this brings us to interoperability and strike power across the Indian Air Force fleet. With over 65% indigenous content, the Mk-1A is more than just a jet. It is a defense supply chain multiplier, boosting dozens of enterprises involved in defense production across India. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has pointed out in the past that Tejas is not only indigenous, but is also better than its foreign equivalents. On the parameters, including engine capacity, radar system, beyond visual range strike capability, as well as cost-effective air-to-air refueling and maintenance, Prime Minister Modi has personally pushed the indigenous fighter program. He even flew in a trainer variant in 2023. Earlier this year, India's Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh, and the Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi also took a sortie in the trainer version of the LCA Tejas. This was the first ever flight of two serving chiefs together in a made-in-India fighter aircraft. The message is clear. With 97 more Tejas Mk-1As coming soon, built in India, powered by Israeli technology, the Indian Air Force is not just replacing old jets, it is redefining air power for the next generation. And shifting focus to Australia, the country is boosting its arsenal with the help of the US. Washington has approved a potential sale of Javelin lightweight command launch units and related equipment to Canberra. The defence deal would cost over $97 million. Australia seeks to buy 161 lightweight command launch units. These units are used to fire Javelin missiles, designed to defeat armoured vehicles, bunkers, and even helicopters. These units will be added to a previously deployed case. Australia earlier bought equipment related to Javelin missiles worth over $6 million. The deal also included technical assistance by the US. And with the latest US approval, Australia will get a basic skills trainer for the missile command launch units, missile simulation rounds, spare parts and logistical support, among multiple other things. The American Javelin missiles have already proven their mettle in the Ukraine war. The anti-tank missiles provided to Kiev under a defense aid package became a symbol of Ukrainian resistance against Russia.
They use Lancet kamikaze drones which fly over and explode. Artillery, grads, big calibers. It is also dangerous to drive a tank with an open hatch as a grenade can be thrown from above. They don't have javelins, laws, so we can fight. Anti-tank guided missiles are another thing.
The deal is not just a boost to Australian defence, it is also a strategic advancement for the US. Canberra is one of the most important allies of Washington in Western Pacific, a region which reels under the growing influence of China. Beijing is taking diplomatic, economic and strategic initiatives to woo the Pacific Island nations. It has initiated infrastructure investments in the region. In May, China even hosted a high-level meeting with 11 Pacific Island nations to deepen ties. China has already signed a security accord with the Solomon Islands. It is eyeing similar pacts with Vanuatu and Kiribati. Now, China has also flexed its military muscle to deter US allies. In June, Chinese aircraft carriers conducted combat training in the Pacific. China's expansionist strategies have triggered responses from the US. The defense deal with Australia is one such example. The US believes that equipping Australia would enhance its capability to meet current and future threats in the region. And shifting focus to the Philippines now, former President Rodrigo Duterte says he has no regrets over his bloody war on drugs, even as he faces crimes against humanity charges at the International Criminal Court in The Hague. The ICC accuses him of criminal responsibility for at least 43 murders between 2011 and 2019, when he was mayor of Davao City and later president. Rights groups say the real death toll is far higher, with thousands killed nationwide. The former president has been in ICC custody since March. Through his youngest daughter, Veronica, he said that he stands by his record. In an interview, Veronica said that her father was no apologizing, adding that he acted in service of his country. And she said that Duterte continues to send love and gratitude to supporters gathering outside his cell. Now, the former President Duterte's words echo his comments from March when he was flown to The Hague on the ICC warrant. Then, without naming the drug war, he took responsibility for the past, and he said he would face whatever came for the police and the military. 5 months on, his eldest daughter and Vice President Sara Duterte is still pushing for his release. Speaking from Kuwait, she confirmed that he is seeking interim freedom under the Rome Statute. She stressed that her father does not intend to flee if the ICC releases him, and that he only wants to return to the native Davao city. Meanwhile, Rodrigo Duterte's legal team is now preparing for a hearing on the 23rd of September. Judges will decide whether to confirm charges of crimes against humanity linked to the drug war. At the same time, his bid to remove ICC prosecutor Karim Khan is under pressure. Khan says that there are no grounds for his removal, despite claims that he once represented drug war victims in the Philippines. Back home in the Philippines, victims of Duterte's war on drugs continue their fight for justice. Many have pointed out that while the war on drugs was justifiable, but the alleged impunity which followed was not.
There was actually nothing wrong with what he ordered to combat illegal drugs, but what was problematic was that a lot of those who were killed were innocent people. He did not discipline. For years, he allowed people to die who are not into drugs or drug lords like my son.
Rodrigo Duterte remains defiant, facing international justice, but refusing to walk back from one of the most controversial legacies in modern Philippine history. Now, today's Russia Soyuz 2.1B rocket will rise from Kazakhstan, carrying with it not astronauts, but an ark of small, voiceless passengers. It is being touted as the modern-day Noah's Ark. Inside the BN-M2 biosatellite, 75 mice, more than 1,000 fruit flies, plant seeds, cell cultures, and microorganisms will be sent on a 30-day journey around the Earth. Russia says the mission's purpose is scientific. It is to study how microgravity and cosmic radiation affect living organisms. It will be in an orbit that exposes the biosatellite to radiation levels at least 10 times higher, conditions designed to mimic deep space travel. A knowledge deemed vital for future deep space travel, but behind the clinical language of science lies a grim truth. Animals are once again being sacrificed to push humanity forward. Russia's space program has long relied on such sacrifices. The story begins in 1957 with Laika. It was a stray dog plucked from Moscow's streets and launched aboard Sputnik 2. Laika never returned. Confined in a small capsule with no hope of rescue, Laika died from heat and oxygen deprivation. A lonely, preventable death that nonetheless etched its name into history books. The United States followed soon after with Ham. It was a chimpanzee sent on a suborbital flight in 1961. Ham endured invasive monitoring, electric shocks for mistakes, and severe dehydration. Though physically survived, its psychological trauma outlived the mission. In 2019, Israel's Bereshit spacecraft crash-landed on the moon with thousands of tardigrades, and there were tiny, resilient water bears on board. Their survival remains unknown, suspended in silence. Decades later, the pattern remains disturbingly familiar. Russia's 2013 BN #1 mission subjected its animal crew to intense cosmic radiation. Rodents, amphibians, reptiles, crustaceans, mollusks, fish, insects, bacteria, plant and animal cell cultures were on board. Now the BN-M2 biosatellite will repeat the same ordeal. For the animals inside, it may be a death sentence. And yet, their fate rarely makes headlines. Unlike military service dogs, which at least receive retirement programs, space animals have no formal exit protocols. They are tools, discarded when the experiment ends. The ethical question grows sharper as missions expand. Outer space law regulates issues like astronaut rescue, satellite registration, and liability for damages. Yet not a single provision protects animals, despite their pivotal role in space history. Their suffering is invisible in official records, their deaths an unspoken cost of progress. As Russia prepares its new Noah's Ark launch, the scientific community celebrates another step toward human survival beyond Earth. Yet beneath the triumph lies tragedy, a reminder that for every breakthrough, countless small lives are extinguished and unremembered. Laika did not volunteer, Han did not raise his hand. The mice, the flies, and the tardigrades, they are drafted into humanity's grand ambitions without consent, their stories ending in obscurity. And that's all we have on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.
Hello and a very warm welcome. I'm